trainer Willie Muir has warned that punters write off perennial underdog Piledriver at their peril ahead of his attempt to land back-to-back runnings of the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot. 12 months ago, when Piledriver won the most prestigious all-age mile-and-a-half race in the British flat calendar, he was the outsider of the field at 18-1. It is a sign that PJ McDonald's mount has won over some of the skeptics that his odds this time are 7-1, but there are still 4 horses, Auguste Rodin, King of Steel, Hukum and Emily Upjohn, in front of him in the betting for a race being labelled as the race of the season. It is probably Piledriver's humble beginnings that still mean he is underestimated. Unfashionably bred out of a dam who barely beat a rival in 4 British runs over hurdles. No one wanted him at the sales and he won his first race at 50-1. But after a 19-race career which has taken in contests in Dubai, Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia, Piledriver needs just slightly more than £10,000 to reach £2 million in prize money. Asked if he is irritated, Piledriver never seems to get the credit he deserves. Muir said, "I have got too old to be irritated by things like that. The horse doesn't read the papers." This time last year this race was being talked about in the same way as this year's race. People were saying it was the race of the century. You had Emily Upjohn, who had been unluckily beaten a short head in the Oaks, Westover, who had won the Irish Derby, and Torquator Tasso, who had won the previous year's Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Then after Piledriver beat Torquator Tasso 2 3/4 lengths, it wasn't so hot. But it was a good race and a fast time. If lack of recognition of his stable star no longer annoys Muir, what has been frustrating was the injury which prevented his charge from running in the big races last autumn and kept him off the track from his King George win until his decisive victory in last month's Hardwicke Stakes at Royal Ascot. Muir said, "He had this niggly problem, and when we found out what it was, my vet said this could come right very quickly or it could be a pain." It was a pain. He had all the big tests, MRI, CT, bone scan, and it was only when we looked at the back of the knee on his near foreleg we found the attachments for the suspensory ligament were a little bit sore. We took our time and at Royal Ascot he showed he was worth waiting for. Piledriver's preparation for that comeback had been a stop-start process and Muir is confident Piledriver can step up a level. He added, "I know there was something there to build on. I was absolutely astonished that he was able to win the Hardwicke Stakes off the preparation he had. Any other horse I have trained would have got tired with a furlong and a half to run and finished towards the back. Since Ascot he has had no issues. He did his last solo on Wednesday and it was pretty darned good. Piledriver will have to be that on Saturday afternoon." Emily Upjohn and Westover, who failed to do themselves justice last year, are both back and have looked good this season. Emily Upjohn, who is trying to give Frankie Dettori a record 8th King George victory on his final ride in the race, impressed when she beat Westover in the Coronation Cup at Epsom, and there was plenty of credit in her half-length second to Paddington dropped back to 1.25 miles in Sandown's Eclipse Stakes. Hukum, who will race with 3 screws in a hind leg after sustaining a potentially career-ending injury when winning last season's Coronation Cup, will love the rain-softened ground and seems to be getting better with age. Then there is Auguste Rodin, this season's Derby and Irish Derby winner. He is one of 4 runners for trainer Aidan O'Brien, which means that Ryan Moore's mount should be handed the strong race tempo he needs to bring out the best in him. Winning the King George and Derby in the same season has been achieved by greats of the sport, such as Nijinsky, 1970, Mill Reef, 1971, Shergar, 1981, Nashwan, 1989, and Generous, 1991. But only 2 horses, Galileo, 2001, and Adair, 2021, have done it this century. Arguably the runner who possesses the most scope for further improvement is Roger Varian, trained Derby runner-up King of Steel. He has only run 4 times and was an easy winner of the King Edward VII Stakes at Royal Ascot, but they all must master Piledriver, the horse you can never write off.